Hello everyone, here's Wurski. Today we're looking at a game played by Sonic the Hedgehog. Hey dog, what's up? And, well, let's see how he plays his Leona. Here the opponents place the ward, so we can be pretty sure the opponents are around here. And honestly, I'm not sure why Leona decided to go that aggressively. I mean, she's pretty alone. Yeah, Elise is somewhere one screen above her. The ADC is so far away, and the mid lane is also not there. So this looked a bit risky. And then going in again, yeah, doesn't really make sense in my opinion. So Leona gets grabbed, and slowly a team fight occurs, but I'm not really sure what these teams are even fighting for, because obviously there are no objectives. And I'm not sure why Leona exhausted here. Yasuo, if the fresh grab had connected, Leona had probably died. And in the end, Leona is like in a one-on-one versus Yasuo, and in the end she even has to flash. Or, well, doesn't have to flash, but flashes. So this is kinda a disaster for bot lane. Because the opponents didn't burn any summoners and Leona did, so not quite sure what was going on there. Here we'll see an engage, and it just looks a little bit random. Leona goes in, doesn't even use her Q to stun the East, and yeah, well, maybe the mana just barely wasn't enough, but she went in and now she's back out. I mean, these kind of trades aren't a big problem in general, as long as no one dies and nothing big happens. It's just a bit risky to well, do these, let's call them all-in engages if you don't have summoners up, and if you don't ward here. So these trades are kinda okay-ish, but risky without proper vision and without summoners. Here it's like the same story. Leona chases the Thresh, obviously Tristana also chases, and this A here, I really dislike it, because you chase the Thresh into an area you had zero vision of, and yeah, well, there's an is, and wait like 2 seconds, there will be the jungler. If now Thresh would have thrown the lantern here, Skarner would have been even there even faster. And suddenly Tristana is out of position and Leona is like in 3 opponents. So yeah, these blind engages are usually not very good. Another flash burn. And she's still there. Disaster for bot lane. Just a small note here, you just killed Thresh and you cleared a ward here. You saw, or you should have seen there was a pink ward in there, so with the supporter down, maybe you want to clear that pink ward. Really important to have vision in this Tri-Brush. Because I mentioned it earlier, here Leona, okay, clears a ward, and now she wards the Tri-Brush. And now she notices, oh, there was a pink ward, well, oh darn. And, well, bot lane is kinda behind at this point. Tristana already died 3 times, and Thresh got, well, the kills mostly, but still, clearing this ward now is quite risky. And yeah, well, Thresh comes, and you can't stand there without having flash or exhaust. This should get punished usually immediately. In this case, Thresh grabbed Tristana and engaged on her, but usually you should have died there first. And well, in this situation Tristana dies and then they collapse on you, so it's an even bigger disaster than I expected. Yeah, well, just an overextension. And I mean, it doesn't even matter what happens afterwards because you can't plan for that. So even if your team kills like 3 opponents and gets a turret and a dragon, you still can't call it a good play. Because it was just too risky. This is kinda similar to before. You don't... well, in this case at least you see the ADC is mid lane and well, 2 enemies just died, so maybe clearing that Pinkwood now is possible. A nice lantern fake here by Thresh. I'm honestly not quite sure why Leona decided to duel this Thresh here. It's just, it's very unlikely you can kill him, because you can just run to his tower. And you could have helped Elise to Dragon. So maybe you wanted to zone him away, but then using ultimate and later using exhaust, it just looks a bit strange. You're like investing everything for this one-on-one. Your kill pressure, even with using all these abilities, is still low. And in the end you chase so long till backup arrives. And yeah, maybe it was a bit unlucky that Thresh survived, but this just was an unnecessary fight, I feel. Just go for Dragon and let this Thresh do his Thresh things. And yeah. Again, this whole fight turns into a disaster. So I feel like your team could have won easily if there wouldn't have been these strange engages and team fights around bot lane like here and here. And most of them seemed to be caused by Leona. So, not that great. Here the red team pushes mid lane, and if we just look at this situation, then we have a 3 versus 3 and a Tristana who is definitely not in any position to fight right now. Big question is, where are the remaining members of these teams? And obviously Sol is dead, Yasuo is dead, so the only one missing is Israel, who is already marching towards mid lane. So again, I'm not quite sure what this fight was supposed to accomplish. So yeah, there's a Maokai, and if you engage on him, maybe we can kill him. But in the end, this is just a 3 versus 4 fight. And even if he wasn't visible at the beginning, he soon joins in. And I mean, where else should he be on this map? There's you see he's not on any lane, so he had to be in his base and was probably nearby. So yeah, we got this kind of messy fight. Again, initiated by Leona, or by Thresh grabbing Leona, which is nearly the same thing. And well, Lissandra dies, I think Elise also dies, getting chased down. Leona is suddenly in a 1 versus 2. So this is just another disaster. Oh well. Elise escapes and then there's another fight, but it doesn't really matter because my point is this engage or this fight was again rather bad. I think I will stop my analysis here, because actually these are the main points as support and as Leona player you should consider in your future games. The first thing is when to engage. This is like the hardest question to answer as Leona, because that's like your job, to engage and to CC people. And well, this level 1 was just completely random. I'm not entirely sure what was supposed to happen there, and this flash was probably a misclick. Then going aggressively bot lane was, in my opinion, too risky and a mistake because you first need to ward, then you can engage, and without summoners, doing some shenanigans here is, well, too risky. This brush was like the death brush for the red team because Leona often engaged or chased through this brush in like any direction and met more opponents than she could chew. So just don't chase as Leona or engage as Leona if you don't have enough vision. That counts for like every position and every situation in a game. I'm not sure what this one-on-one was in here, not quite sure why you didn't clear the pink ward when you had the time, but you decided to clear it when it was dangerous again. And in the end, just so many bad fights happened here. It really made the early game of your team a mess, I feel. And disengage, you understand what the idea was, 3 versus 3, in theory we got a Tristana, so maybe 4 versus 3, and the Maokai is low, maybe we can burst him, but as engager, or like as league player in general, you have to think a bit and to remind yourself to evaluate a position or a situation and say, well, where are the missing members of these teams? And if your members are dead and there is an opponent who isn't visible and is probably in his base and will join the fight soon, then maybe the odds are against you. And yeah, I think this game could have been a lot easier if you had just chosen your engage windows a bit better. And yeah, well, like I said, vision is very important. So I hope that helped.